There's a kind of suffering that rarely makes noise. It hides behind polite smiles. It masks itself in helpfulness. It's praised, admired, even envied. And yet, it is quietly suffocating. I'm talking about the hidden pain of the people-pleaser. Maybe you know this pain. Maybe you've lived your whole life trying to be the good one, the one who says yes even when their soul whispers no, the one who shows up for everyone but secretly wonders if anyone would show up for them, the one who listens, supports, gives, and goes home feeling hollow, unseen, exhausted. If that's you, let me tell you something you've probably never heard. Your need to be liked isn't your personality, it's your wound. There's a reason why you feel uncomfortable with conflict, why you avoid disappointing others, even at the cost of betraying yourself. It's not because you're weak. It's because somewhere, at some point, you learned that love was conditional, that affection came when you behaved, that worth was earned, not inherent. And so, you became everything everyone needed you to be, except yourself. I've met countless people, kind, gifted, deeply loving, who've spent their lives living for the approval of others. And beneath all of it was a silent fear. If I say what I truly think, they'll leave. If I stop giving, I'll be forgotten. If I take up space, I'll lose the little love I have. That fear is real, and unless you face it, it will quietly shape every decision you make. Here's what I've learned. The people-pleaser is not motivated by love. They're motivated by fear. Fear of abandonment, fear of disconnection, fear of being unwanted. And the tragedy is, this pattern creates the very pain it tries to avoid. You give and give, hoping to feel worthy, and end up feeling invisible. You avoid saying no to keep the peace, and lose your peace in the process. You try to be everything for everyone, and forget how to be anything for yourself. But here's the truth that can set you free. You are not responsible for everyone's happiness. You are not here to carry the emotional weight of the world. You are allowed to have needs. You are allowed to have boundaries. And you are allowed to be loved not for what you do, but for who you are. And maybe, just maybe, it's time to come home to that forgotten self. There's something profoundly heartbreaking about realizing you've spent years shaping yourself into someone you thought others wanted, only to still feel alone. That's the paradox of the people-pleaser. You bend, you shrink, you soften your voice, and still, deep inside, you whisper, "Why do I feel so unloved?" I've watched this pattern unfold in people of every age. The employee who always says yes to extra work, hoping for validation that never comes. The spouse who avoids honest conversations to keep the peace, yet feels like a stranger in their own marriage. The friend who's always available, always listening, yet cries in silence because no one ever asks, "How are you, really?" This is not just exhaustion, it's identity erosion. When you spend your life chasing approval, you begin to forget what you actually believe. You lose your own voice in the echo chamber of other people's needs. And one day, you look in the mirror and wonder, Who am I when no one needs me? Let me tell you something important. Being kind is not the same as being a doormat. Generosity without boundaries is not virtue. It's self-abandonment. And love that requires you to disappear is not love. It's dependency in disguise. The deepest relationships are not built on performance. They're built on presence. The people who truly love you will not love your masks. They will love your truth. But first, you must be brave enough to show it. And yes, that's terrifying. Because the moment you stop pleasing, some people will pull away. The moment you say no, some will accuse you of changing. And in a way, they're right. You are changing. You are healing. You are no longer outsourcing your worth to someone else's approval. You are learning that no can be a holy word. You are remembering that silence is not always consent, and that your voice matters even if it trembles. So let this part of your journey be sacred. Let it be messy, imperfect, full of small wins and quiet grief. Because becoming yourself again is not a performance, it's a return. You don't need to be impressive. You need to be honest. You don't need to keep everyone happy. You need to stop abandoning your own heart. And maybe, just maybe, that is what real courage looks like. There's a lie many of us were taught early in life, that love must be earned, that to be safe, you must be agreeable, that to be wanted, you must be needed. And so, without realizing it, we built a life of silent sacrifice, where pleasing others became our way of feeling worthy. But what happens when the applause stops? What happens when the people you worked so hard to please still leave, still criticize, still misunderstand you? That's the breaking point. And for many, it becomes the beginning of truth. I once spoke with a woman who had spent decades as the dependable one, the helper, the emotional anchor for everyone around her. But when she finally asked for help, when she couldn't keep pretending to be strong, most of those people disappeared. "I thought they loved me," she said through tears, "but now I wonder if they just loved what I gave them." That moment is sacred. Painful, yes, but clarifying. Because you begin to see what's real. You begin to learn that not all connections are rooted in love. Some are rooted in convenience. And your healing may disrupt them. Your boundaries may offend them. But that is not a sign that you're doing something wrong. It's a sign that you're finally doing something true. You were not created to be everything to everyone. You were created to be whole, to be rooted, to be real. And that means disappointing some people. It means saying no without guilt. It means allowing others to feel discomfort without making it your job to fix it. It also means making peace with the fact that not everyone will like the real you. But hear me, those who are meant to love you will. And their love will feel different. It will feel calm. It will feel freeing. It will not ask you to shrink or perform. And slowly your heart will soften. You'll find that you don't need to explain every decision. You don't need to justify every feeling. You can simply be, unapologetically, quietly, fully, because your worth is no longer tethered to someone else's comfort. It is found in your own presence. And that, my friend, is the beginning of peace. There's something holy about the day you stop saying yes to be liked and start saying yes to be free. That day doesn't usually come with celebration. Often it begins in silence, in the quiet discomfort of saying no and sitting in the weight of someone else's disappointment. And yet, it is in that discomfort that you begin to taste liberation. For the people-pleaser, discomfort has always been the enemy. You were taught to soothe it, to fix it, to prevent it at all costs. But healing begins when you realize discomfort is not the enemy, it's the doorway. The first time you speak your truth and someone withdraws, that's a doorway. The first time you rest instead of rescue, that's a doorway. The first time you show up not to impress but to be real, that is a doorway. And each time you walk through, something inside you stands taller, breathes deeper, becomes more still. You start to realize, I don't need to be needed to be loved. That's a revelation. Because your entire life may have been built on the opposite. You were the one who filled the gaps, carried the weight, stayed up late to make sure everyone else was okay. But now you are beginning to believe that maybe you're allowed to be okay too, even if it means someone else isn't, even if it means setting down what was never yours to carry. I remember something I wrote in the margin of a journal years ago. Helping everyone is not the same as healing anyone, and I still believe it. Because you can give endlessly and still feel empty. You can smile daily and still be unseen. You can be surrounded and still unknown. And if that's true, then maybe it's time to redefine love. Love that depletes you is not love. Love that demands you disappear is not sacred. Real love honors your boundaries. It celebrates your voice. It sees your no not as rejection, but truth. And here's something else. The more you honor your own truth, the more you attract people who do too. The more you stop performing, the more your life fills with presence, not pretense. You stop managing impressions and start building real intimacy, not with the whole world, but with the few who truly see you. And in that small, quiet circle, your soul finally exhales. There is a version of you the world has yet to meet. Not the version who says yes to stay safe. Not the one who smiles to avoid tension. But the one who speaks gently, clearly, from a place of rootedness, not fear. That version is not a stranger. It's the real you, waiting underneath all the layers of performance. You don't need to become someone else to be loved. You need to become who you were before the world told you that your value depended on how much you give, how well you behave, how small you can make yourself to fit inside someone else's comfort zone. That's not love. That's survival. And you, my friend, were made for more than survival. You were made for connection, for wholeness, for a life that doesn't drain you, but restores you. The truth is, people-pleasers don't just fear rejection, they fear being forgotten. And that fear is valid. But you will never be forgotten by those who truly see you. You will never lose the people who are meant to walk with you, not when you show up as your whole self, but because you do. And yes, this new path is lonely at first. It requires grieving the roles you played, the praise you used to earn, the safety you felt in being needed. But beyond that grief is something sacred, self-respect. And with it, a quiet joy begins to rise. You no longer feel resentment after every yes. You no longer panic when someone is disappointed. You no longer live your life trying to control what others think, because you've found something more powerful than approval: peace. So from this day forward, let this truth guide you. You are not here to be everyone's answer. You are here to be your own. And when you finally live from that place, not fear, not performance, but presence, your life becomes your own again. Your heart softens. Your voice strengthens. Your boundaries speak without apology. This is your turning point. This is your homecoming. And from here, you don't have to please to be loved. You simply have to be.